Welcome to Paul's Heart. I'm Paul, author of the book Paul's Heart Life as a Dad and a 35-year cancer survivor, available on Amazon. I've spent a lot of time making videos talking about my journey with cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, as a patient and as a survivor. Health issues that I've faced, other issues from discrimination, financial, and so forth. I want to spend a little bit of time today and have a little fun with it, talking about life after cancer. When you're done with your treatments, when you're past that 5 year mark and moving on with life. You know, throughout these 35 years that I taught in my book, I mentioned it too. I ended up having a great career, did a lot of traveling, some interesting hobbies that I had through entertainment, music, things like that, dabble into local politics. I got to experience a lot of things in these 35 years, but perhaps nothing has had a bigger impact on my survivorship than that of my two daughters. So, what I wanted to do was a little show and tell with some props to show you what life has been like. Uh, well, with my daughters, it's been for the last 21 years out of those 35. But this is what long term survivorship has been for me. And, you know, as I was pulling these pictures out, I realized how much I would have missed if I had not survived all the things that I faced through, whether it was my cancer or the side effects that I deal with. But there is life after cancer, and that's what I want to show you. Um, Let me see if I can do this without all the reflections. Yeah, my daughters loved adventure. You know, whether we were exploring caves, going for amusement rides, walks on the beach. You know, I miss these things because they're older now, they're adults, and, you know, they have their own lives. You know, cooking, playing music. Oops, what goes that way? I miss, you know, with them being older now, I miss moments like this, the togetherness that they had. Um, they don't live far from each other, you know, at school. So I do know that they do keep in touch with each other. So that has rubbed off because together they really are a really fun pair to watch, you know, living life. Um, One of my greatest times with them, we love ice cream. There's no getting around that. They're 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 not afraid to try new things. Learning to ski. Eventually, they would, you know, go on to snowboards instead. They weren't afraid of the wilderness, out catching things out of creeks, whatever you want to call it, little streams. Holidays were always a blessing. Um, this probably was the hardest time in my life where one of my late side effects popped up in a harsh way. I talk about it in my book when I had to have emergency heart surgery. This picture was taken a week later after I got home. That is a heart pillow behind me protecting my breastbone from my daughter, who was notorious for slamming her head into me prior to that surgery. I had to prevent that. But I definitely would not be here if it weren't for them. Um, they love to have fun. You know, I miss this. I don't get to see this anymore with them being grown up. You know, amusement rides in the middle of winter, you know, loving their animals, you know, holiday pictures. And one of my favorite memories was our dog. Uh, they both loved him, he loved them. Just great. Both daughters, you know, love to play with the guitars. Amusement rides. I don't think there was one carousel that they didn't ride. And again, like I said, not afraid of animals. Okay, we have a lot of those things down here. One thing I think I do miss a lot is them not having their grandfather around anymore. It's been 11 years since he passed, but he did get to spend a lot of time with them. I just wish that, he could see how they are right now, because I think he'd be, super proud of them. You know, love animals. Both of them do. They both like to be challenged. Uh, it's so many memories, with this. Um, but they're always joined together. That's one thing that I can be happy for both of them, is that they do reach out to each other and hang on to each other. Um, but hanging by the creek, seeing what they can catch. I miss this. I really do. Closeness. Willing to do anything with each other and for each other. I miss these moments. Um, I've missed all that. This is over. These pictures are all over the last 21 years of my 35 years of survivorship that I've gotten to experience. And like I said, not afraid of adventure. And probably one of the biggest milestones for me to this point. I do have a major milestone coming up next month. Stay tuned for that. But being around to be able to see these two graduate from high school. If you would have told me 35 years ago that I would actually get to see that happen, I never would have believed it. But the truth is, there is life after cancer. And this is a major part of it. My daughters are a major part of my life after cancer. And whether or not you choose to have a family, or, go full career mode, or whatever direction you take, there's a long time after cancer. And that's my hope for you. Until next time, this is Paul's Heart.